A love letter to midwives from a doula. Dear midwife, when I was born, you were the student who listened to my mother and believed her, so I wasn't born in the corridor. When I was becoming a mother myself, you turned the lights low, you swayed with me, trusted me, encouraged me. When I became a doula, you were the community midwife whose home birth rate was 18%, who welcomed me and my clients into your delightful orbit of warmth, humour, and deep respect. You were the midwife who asked my opinion, encouraged me to join a patient liaison committee, proposed me as chair, always greeting me with a joke and a smile in the corridor. You were the consultant midwife who answered my calls, who always made time for my clients and always went above and beyond to understand their heart's desires. You were the supervisor of midwives, whose teeth would grind in tune with my own as we listened to the mother's tales of injustice and unkindness. Dear midwife, we have crouched on floors together, supped tea together, had one arm each of a hot, groaning woman as she sinks to a squat with each wave. We have wrapped parents and each other in my rebozo and had a long 3 a.m. chat about life, the universe and everything, interrupted only by us stopping to listen to the rhythmic moans emanating from the next room. I have shared your aching knees, sleeves damp from the birth pool, eyelids heavy in the dim, cloying small hours. I have set my jaw along with yours as parents' choices are ignored and rights abused, and my spine has straightened in horror as I've watched you disintegrate in the face of bullying. Precious midwife, sometimes when we meet you are cold. I can't hold that against you. I know you've heard stories about doulas, a few of which might have seeds of truth. I know you watch us speak with and touch our clients with the everyday familiarity you wish you were allowed to have. I know you worry about all kinds of things, boundaries, safety, your registration. I get it. But dear midwife, remember, at our best, how we danced together when enmity and suspicion were set aside and we met as equals in the room where all love began. We have seen what happens when we share our hearts and how they open to let in mutual understanding. Now, at the end of a long life, all I remember is how much we laughed and cried watching the ecstasy of birth and newborns taking their first sips. I will remember you forever, face glowing with fascination as you describe how the placenta works, stroking it reverently with gloved fingertips. I'll never forget your wet cheeks as you listened to a poem written to mark the cutting of the cord, or your joy at realising this trickily positioned baby has righted himself and was now getting himself born. Most of all, my dearest midwife, what I'll never forget is the fight, standing shoulder to shoulder with you and raising our voices. Our attempts to get the world to listen have been exhausting and definitely not as successful as we would like. But we have tried. The beauty, you see, is always in the trying, in the believing, in the striving for what is right. Without us, obstetric violence would stalk our corridors unimpeded. Choices and rights ignored, a cataclysm of trauma would envelop us all. We chose to stand strong, even if that stand meant stepping back from the jobs we loved, each small act contributing to an enormous wave of rebellion. Dear midwife, you do good, by stealth or otherwise, and when you can't, I call out the system that despises you, the patriarchal structures that seek to obliterate you, the management that can't support you, the trauma you have to carry. I hope, dear friend, wherever we meet, in homes and hospitals, next to birth pools or CTG machines, in corridor rooms and in the community, that we are each able to recognise our sibling and reach out to touch the human within. It is our only hope.